Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Jacksonville Buzz. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. Joining me in the studio now is Dr. Ravi Raheja, and he is the founder of TriageLogic. What is that? We're just about to find out. Welcome, Dr.
Good morning.
Ravi.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So first of all, tell me, what is TriageLogic?
So TriageLogic is a nurse telehealth company, and so we're a technology company that provides all kinds of nursing services with telehealth. And we've been doing this for 14 years. My wife, who is the CEO, basically came up with the whole concept, and it evolved from there.
And as simple as that, telehealth.
Telehealth with nurses, though.
So why did you start this company?
So there are really two reasons. One is when my wife looked at the current triage systems that existed, it was really archaic. People were sitting in basements with getting faxes, and it didn't make any sense, both from a business and an operational perspective. So she came up with a concept of, if we could have nurses work remotely, we can open up an entire new workforce. At that time, the only jobs available for nurses were like 9 to 5 in offices or 12-hour shifts in hospitals. So she basically created this opportunity for people to work after hours at home. And so it opened up a whole new workforce, on top of which the other reason was really to improve care for doctors. And so we decided to customize the care in a way that we act as a true extension of the physician. So when we're taking their calls, even though we cover 10,000 physicians, we act on behalf of each one when we talk to them, to the patients.
So what type of people call?
We have basically everything from 0 to 107. 107 is the oldest caller we've ever had, and was completely lucid and perfect. It was funny. But we basically handle everything from babies, any specialty. Because of the way our system is built, we can handle almost anything.
And how do the nurses know what to say?
So we actually have a very sophisticated system, which is part of what we built to start this. So we have protocols that are built in from two doctors called Dr. Schmidt and Dr. Thompson. They're the gold industry. And so we have standardized protocols that the nurses follow, as well as a really specialized training program to train the nurses.
I mean, do you think that this is the way forward, telehealth?
You know, it's been shown that, first of all, people don't call their doctor to say, I'm not feeling well, or my baby's crying. They only call their doctor when they think they're sick enough they need to be treated. So nurses are the first line of care for empathy, advice, and it prevents, I mean, when you look at the data, we save 50% of the people from going to the ER. And the flip side of that is about 8 to 10% of people don't want to go in but have something serious, so they end up with a stroke at home. Oh, my left eye I can't see, but I'm going to finish the Jaguars game before I go in. Things like that. We've actually had complaints like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so we save a lot of lives because people will call a nurse just to ask questions because they're not intimidated, or they feel like the nurses are available for them. And so that's basically how it works. So we save lives, and we also prevent extra care in the ER.
I mean, I think you're right. I mean, it's one of these situations where trying to get men to go to the doctors is almost impossible. But if there's just a telephone call, it's perhaps you can get some information out of them, and you can say, hey, you better go to the ER now, or it's okay, take a couple of Tylenol and then make an appointment tomorrow with your physician.
And actually, women are even worse because they have so much responsibility. A lot of times they're like, I'm going to do everything for everyone before I take care of myself. And there's a lot of women who, get heart attacks and strokes and stuff like that and don't get the proper care.
Sure. So tell me what the two biggest challenges are with telehealth.
I think the challenge is that people don't see the direct value immediately, and traditionally there's been no reimbursement codes. So now with COVID, there was a lot of reimbursement for telehealth with doctors, but there's still not really any reimbursement for telehealth with nurses, which is actually the most cost-effective way to do it, because our nurses can handle 75% of what a doctor would get phone calls for. So if you really look at the cost of care, if 75% are handled by a nurse at a third or a quarter of the cost, and only 25% by the doctor, it would be much more effective. But people haven't really looked at that data yet. And so over time, though, it will happen. We're starting to see a huge boom in people opening up call centers and understanding that nurses have to be first.
Absolutely. So if people want to find out more about TriageLogic, how do they find you?
Well, you just Google Triage, or just look up www.triagelogic.com.
That's simple.
Or look up nurse triage, and we probably usually show up on the first searches because there's only a few companies in the country that really do what we do, and we're probably the only ones that actually do both technology and services. So.
Dr. Ravi, it's a pleasure to find out about this, and I'm sure I'm going to see more and more about TriageLogic in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
And don't forget, if you'd like to know any more information, you can go to TriageLogic.com or you can find it at iwannabuzz.com. Thank you for watching.